Yes guys, welcome back to another video. Welcome to the George Benson football channel for your second Chelsea news video of the day. I thought most people, at least they try not to work on Sundays, but apparently when the transfer window is open, there's no difference between a bloody Tuesday afternoon and a Sunday afternoon. There's news coming out of our ears, and a lot of it is to do with Chelsea player sales. So we're going to delve into that today. Make sure you subscribe to GBFC. Smack a like if you enjoy these double upload days over the summer. And as well as that, if you do want to buy any of the new Chelsea kits this season, because we've got a gold badge on them all now, you can pre-order it on the website, or you can order it now. I'll leave a link in the description. Use the discount code GBFC10 for 10% off your order. So, first things first, it's a week today. A week anniversary since we won the Club World Cup. So, I hope you've enjoyed the last 7 days. I certainly have. And seeing this from Time Sport has just made it that much sweeter. At a FIFA dinner on the eve of the Club World Cup final, the Chelsea delegation noted how preoccupied the representatives of PSG were with how and where they would collect the trophy. Chelsea's people informed Enzo Moresca of this, and he passed it on to the players. I feel as though Enzo Moresca might have been the only man in the world that was deadpan confident that Chelsea were going to win and win the way that we did. PSG, at a FIFA dinner, they've been humbled here by Chelsea, because that wouldn't surprise me whatsoever. With the way that PSG have been, champions of Europe versus the little Conference League minnows in Chelsea, of course they would have been confident. Of course they would have believed that they were going to win this trophy. Enzo Moresca also, if we bring it back to the pre-match press conference, he was asked about how are you going to cope with not having the ball? And Moresca was like, who said that? And he said it with like this glint and this stare in his eyes as if to say, you lot don't have a Scooby-Doo what you're talking about. And in the end, he was proven correct. Within 10 minutes of that final, Chelsea had got the better of Paris Saint-Germain. So to read this a week later, I thought it was the perfect time to bring this one up, because it's been a week and it has been a bloody great week. Chelsea are champions of the world. Now this morning, we started off by talking about Renato Vega leaving Chelsea, and this seems to have developed a little bit more. There was Premier League clubs, Bayern Munich and Atletico Madrid interested, and now, about 8 hours ago, this came out from Fabrizio Romano. Atletico Madrid have now made direct contact with Renato Vega's camp, and the player is keen on the move. Chelsea insist on package worth at least 40 million euros to sell Vega, while Atleti are prepared to advance in negotiations. So this is great news. And we've got to just stop for a second and praise this business from Chelsea, because if Renato Vega isn't part of Enzo Moresca's plans, and last season, right, he spends 6 months at Chelsea, plays a few games in the Conference League, then he goes out on loan, and before you know it, we have 3x the price of the player. And if this isn't Chelsea at prime, selling players for inflated fees, or not even inflated fees, if that's what we rate Renato Vega at, I think he's a solid player. I think Atletico Madrid will be happy to sign him, even at 40 million euros. But you've got to look at this, and again, praise needs to be given to the recruitment team. Because to pick Renato Vega up for £12 million, have him for 6 months, send him on loan to Juve, and then the following summer sell him for 40 million, regardless of what you think about the model, regardless of what you think about signing loads of players and then shipping them on 6 months later. At first, when I see us loan out Vega, I'm like, well, this looks a bit silly. We've just bought him in, and do we have any left-back cover? No. So in hindsight, we're very lucky with Cucurella. I mentioned that earlier, but I will say this. If he's got no future at Chelsea, and you're able to triple his value in one season, then this is great business. And this is going to fund future players that will hopefully have a part to play in Moresca's team. And Jorel Hato is the name that we keep on hearing. And I think at the minute, Chelsea is so focused and concentrated on making sure that we get rid of these players that once we've actually started to see the likes of a Vega go, Felix, Nkunku potentially, then I think we'll start to see more incomings for Chelsea in this transfer window. The next story that I want to discuss here, this is the main one of today's video again. Manchester United have held talks with Nicolas Jackson's representative, Ali Barrett, over a potential move. Worth noting, Chelsea have interest in Garnacho. That's what I want to talk to you guys about today. So, first of all, the name Ali Barrett. He's an agent. He's Caicedo's agent. He was there for the deal between Chelsea getting Caicedo from Brighton, and he's also working with Xavi Simons. So expect to hear this name in videos quite a lot over the course potentially of the next week or so. Fabrizio has said this in the last hour about Manchester United. Manchester United will surely sign new striker. No decision made yet on top option. No fresh bid for Gilchrist whilst he's focused on Arsenal. Aware of Jackson availability with Garnacho to Chelsea appreciation. Seshko also discussed internally. Now, for me, you can wipe out that first option. Victor Gyokeres only wants to sign for Arsenal. There's big delays with that one, but I don't think Man United are going to be able to swoop in and take him from Arsenal's clutches. So let's look at the other two. Nicolas Jackson, Benjamin Seshko. I think when it comes to Manchester United, this summer, they've already done some good business. But again, if you watch them in their friendly yesterday against Leeds, you can sign Cunha, you can sign Mbeumo, you could even sign another striker, but I don't think that solves the issues at that football club. They've still got a bang average at best midfield, and I still don't think the goalkeeper and defence is all that either. So for Man United right now, they're going all in on signing this brand new attack at the club. Garnacho's wanted and appreciated by Chelsea. Nicolas Jackson wanted and appreciated by Manchester United. After what we're seeing here with Hugo Ekitike, that deal to Liverpool is basically done. The price, 95 million euros. I can't believe I'm even saying it. It's an astronomical sum of money. So if that is the case, what is Nicolas Jackson worth? Nicolas Jackson's got to be in the same kind of bracket of conversation. He's got maybe not as good of a scoring record as Ekitike, but it's certainly not that bad, or it's not far off. And he's done it in the Premier League already. So if Liverpool are going out there and spending 95 million from a player from the Bundesliga, surely there's got to be some Premier League tax here. Manchester United, if they want Nicolas Jackson, we've got to be talking about 80 million. A lot of you guys in the comments of yesterday's video are saying, Benson, you're putting him a bit too high. And for me, it doesn't matter what Nicolas Jackson is actually worth, because we can all have our opinions on that. I personally think Jackson is a really solid footballer, and maybe it's not been the heights that we would expect, but at least Chelsea have addressed that. We've signed Joao Pedro and Liam Delap. I think that's going to get us better numbers than what we've seen from Nicolas Jackson with very little competition for him. So the problem here is Garnacho coming the other way, because I can absolutely see this happening. Xavi Simons to Chelsea, at the moment, we got to look at it for what it is. Xavi Simons has been offered to Chelsea by Ali Barrett. Chelsea haven't really gone anywhere with this one right now because we're looking to offload players. Morgan Rogers is the so-called dream Chelsea signing this summer, but the price is also astronomical. There are certain reports coming out right now that I think are very much clutching at straws, saying that Chelsea are willing to offer players for a swap deal for Morgan Rogers. But I think at the minute, the biggest opportunity is going to be Manchester United going after Nicolas Jackson. The question is, what is that price going to be? Next week, we're going to find out about Nicolas Jackson's future. But I also want to discuss here Garnacho, because I've got a feeling this is actually going to happen. Let's have a quick look at Garnacho's stats for the last 365 days. You can see here, he's in the top 4% when it comes to total shots, top 5% for progressive carries, touches in the attacking penalty area, progressive passes received. I think Jamie Gittens is going to be a better player for Chelsea than Alejandro Garnacho. But I'll say this, okay? There is the potential that Alejandro Garnacho could come to Chelsea and absolutely explode. Do I actually think that's going to happen? And do I want to see this happen when we have just signed Jamie Gittens as an out-and-out left winger? No. I think Gittens could be a brilliant signing. I think he absolutely is what Enzo Moresca wants to see from a winger. He can shoot with both feet. We've seen that in the recent training videos from Gittens. And I think that is the man that we should be looking at as the out-and-out left winger. I think the profile that Chelsea need is that hybrid player. Someone like a Xavi Simons who's got that footballing IQ, creativity, can make something happen, and also doesn't bring all of this baggage and additional luggage from off the field. That is the problem with Alejandro Garnacho, let alone the fact he's still very much not the finished article on the pitch. So for Chelsea to bring in two left wingers that are both vying for the same position, that will technically be offering similar things, but they don't really offer similar things. You know what I mean? Like, we'd be playing them in the same kind of system probably, but I think Gittens suits what we're trying to do so much better. So in so many ways, this Garnacho to Chelsea story does not make sense to me. It could work, but I don't think it will. And I think we should be prioritising in other areas. And I've said that on countless occasions. But let's see what happens over the next couple of days. The next story is regarding Eberechi Eze. And this has come in on Sunday afternoon. This is Eduardo Hagen, and has posted this just in from Cy Phillips Sport. Chelsea have spoken with Eze's agents, but he wants a big salary, which surprised them. Chelsea learned that his release clause must be paid in a single payment. Interest remains, but any move by Chelsea to sign Eze now seems unlikely. This is interesting because throughout the course of recent weeks, we've been led to believe that with Arsenal's interest in Eberechi Eze, that release clause didn't have to be paid in one singular payment. Now, whether or not this is all the truth remains to be seen. But Eze having that release clause able to pay it in 2 or 3 payments, I think it was reported that Arsenal were able to do a couple of weeks ago, this makes it a much more favourable deal. Eze's wages at Palace were also good, but obviously he knows at 27 years old, that next contract is going to be the big one. So of course, Eze will be asking for important wages. Eze is an option that I think would be an immediate, he can start for Chelsea. He could play on that left wing. He could potentially play back up to Cole Palmer as well. There's a lot of different options that Enzo Moresca is going to have. Eze at 27, if he's going to be on big money and Crystal Palace are going to want this up front for that release clause, then I think we can absolutely rule Chelsea out of this one. But again, that means that if you rule yourself out of Eze, that's another one of those options gone. You've still got Morgan Rogers there potentially. That's going to look difficult. Xavi Simons as well. This is one that I'm really growing on. The more I look into Xavi Simons, the more I think that could actually be our guy. But it looks as though, if we believe these reports, Eze to Chelsea is now not going to happen. Will Arsenal go for this one too if Crystal Palace really do want it in one go? Or is this just something that's been said to Chelsea to deter them, and then that puts Arsenal in a position where they're like, we've got a clear run at Eze now. If we want him, let's go for him. Maybe Eze prefers to go to Arsenal. I think he'd probably get more game time there, I would say. Let me know your thoughts on that in the comments down below. But it looks as though Eze to Chelsea might be off. A couple of hours ago, there was interest from Neom SC, a Saudi Arabian football team, in Axel Disasi. And then literally within an hour, they've ended their interest in Axel Disasi. A move was explored, but Neom now have other centre-back targets. I'm going to do some logical guesswork here. I believe that Chelsea have gone and quoted ridiculous sums of money for Axel Disasi, and Neom, even though it's Saudi, even though they got loads of money, they love to spend it. I think even they've been like, sorry mate, but Axel Disasi isn't worth that. There's a couple of players that I think Chelsea might struggle to offload this summer, and I think those players will be Disasi, Ben Chilwell, and Raheem Sterling. I think what we would want from Disasi, because he was a pretty expensive player that hasn't been anywhere near the standard we would have wanted or expected. Moresca, don't think he fancies him at all. I don't see Disasi ever playing football for Chelsea again. So I think it's going to be difficult to offload him. We've heard about Villarreal. We've spoken about Newcastle. If a Saudi club come in, we can get excited because hopefully they're going to cough up the money. But Neom, I've literally spent about 2 hours on a Sunday afternoon negotiating with Chelsea over a lunch talk, probably. And then they're like, no, sorry, we're going to walk away from Axel Disasi and go for someone else. There's also news here on Raheem Sterling, the aforementioned player. Chelsea hope to recoup 20 million quid for Raheem Sterling. No talks have been held yet between the player and the club over a transfer, though both are relaxed about finding a solution. I mean, when we say both are relaxed about finding a solution, this should be an absolute priority for Chelsea. Sterling's got no future at this football club. He's the highest paid player, or one of the highest paid players on our books right now. There should be no relaxing about it. We should be looking to offload Raheem Sterling's wages as soon as possible. And look, whether or not this is entirely true, £20 million, let me know in the comments who's paying that. Who is going to pay 20 million quid for Raheem Sterling right now? Yes, he's had a wonderful career. Yes, he could definitely still do it, I think. I say the top level, but I mean like Premier League level, not top club level. I think that's gone. Sterling might want it. Sterling might have a dream about the World Cup, but it's going to take a monumental turn of events for Raheem Sterling to make that plane of Thomas Tuchel's England next summer. It's not going to happen. So I think there's got to be an element of just like realism here. 20 million quid for Sterling. If we get that, that is unbelievable business for a player that went to Arsenal and didn't even score a Premier League goal. Are you having a laugh, mate? 20 million quid. Bloody hell. Let's move now into the final story of this Chelsea news video. Derby, Watford, Middlesbrough and Blackburn have all inquired about Alfie Gilchrist. And I know that there was a thing going on about a year ago where apparently we look similar, but now he's valued at around 5 million quid. As it stands, Chelsea have no plans to sanction a loan deal. So it looks as though Alfie is going to be one of those homegrown academy players that doesn't quite make it at Chelsea. We did see that phenomenal goal that he scored against Everton where he rifles it into the back of the net. Was it Everton or Grimsby? I think it was Grimsby, not Everton. But it was in the cup and he scored that wonderful goal. Amazing celebration. A lot of people at the time thought this could be his breakthrough. Could have an opportunity in the first team. Since then, it looks as though Josh Achampong is further ahead in the pecking order. So 5 million for Alfie Gilchrist. It's a shame, but that's the reality. If we want Chelsea to be competing for honours, winning Premier Leagues, winning Champions Leagues and all of this stuff, not every academy player is going to make it. And unfortunately, that's the harsh reality of it. I would love to see every prospect make it into the first team, play hundreds of appearances for Chelsea, but unfortunately it's not going to work that way. And in terms of the centre-back positions right now, we're covered. Tosin, Chalobah, Badiashile there, Levi Colwill coming into his own. These are the levels. And if you can't compete with that, then you're probably not going to make it here. And as much as I love Alfie Gilchrist, he's a top lad, good footballer. Maybe this is the move that he absolutely needs. And again, it would be profit on the books for Chelsea. So, I'm going to wrap this video up right here. For me, it's still a no to Garnacho. I'm still looking at it and thinking, yeah, there could be something there in the player. For sure there is. He's got talent, but all of that off-field stuff, how do we remove that from what he brings to the locker room? It's difficult, the changing room even, if I'm in the US, been here for too long. But anyway, going to wrap this video up here. Make sure you guys are subscribed to GBFC because as stories break, we will keep releasing videos in the morning and in the afternoon so that you guys are covered. Even if there's not much going on, just love starting the conversation with you lot and seeing what you say in the comments down below. Thank you very much. See you in the next one.